made a video a while ago called Why Doki Doki Literature Club is Brilliant, and back then my editing wasn't as good, so I'm just going to remake this video real quick and bring up some new points that I didn't bring up in my previous video. This game was always strange to me because it involved anime, and it actually was very heavily balanced on anime, but I don't really watch anime, to be honest, or really like it. My opinion on it, I might make another video on it, to be honest, but I don't hate it, but I don't like it, you know? I don't think people who watch anime are quote-unquote weird. Like, so I don't know why people say that shit, but at the same time, I just don't watch it, so it's just not for me, you know? In today's video, I'm gonna say my piece on why I think DDLC is one of my, if not my favorite horror games of all time. This game is just so different to other games that I just feel like I need to explain it, because it's not one of those games where it directly looks like the best horror game of all time. So I'm gonna explain some things that are just fucking crazy to me. So with that, let's start the video. In the previous video, I explained the general premise of DDLC, but this time I won't be doing that because I want to be explaining why I love it, assuming you know all the spoilers in the game. This is the only anime-related content that I actually enjoy and love a lot. I just think everything is perfect about it, you know, from the music to the characters and the story and just everything. So once again, there is a spoiler warning, so now is your time to leave the video if you haven't played Doki Doki Literature Club. It's free, and the download link is in the description. With that being said, let's actually move on to the video. The game was advertised as a friendly and happy dating simulator, but without getting spoiled too much, I was told it was a horror game, and you know, me loving horror, I had to download it, right? And keep in mind, this is back in like 2017 when the game first came out. I would say probably 2017 October. When I first downloaded the game and I started playing it, I didn't like it, to be honest. I was like, what is this? How is this a horror game? Why am I playing this? Like, it's just a dating simulator. Like, I don't understand why it's so special until I finished it. And you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can say for the credits, when the credits are rolled, you're just sitting there like, what did I just play, you know? When you go to the tracks on the Team Salvato YouTube channel, they usually upload the music tracks that were in the game. There's a lot of people in the comments explaining how Doki Doki Literature Club literally changed their life, and you know, it's just crazy like looking at that. But you know, some people gained depression from it, like real life depression from that game. And I was watching the third DDLC birthday livestream, which, by the way, I was there for the entire time. I was there for the entire 7.5 hours. But I remember someone mentioned the fact that the Just Monica sequence in the game, you know, where you're just with Monica in the space floating classroom or whatever, actually helped a man talk to a woman and actually led him to getting a girlfriend. I know, it's crazy, but, you know, it's true. Hearing stories like that are very interesting to me, and, you know, it just really shows how Team Salvato is a great game company, even for their first project. There are a lot of people who enjoy DDLC, people who just love horror, like me, people who just like anime, or even just people who love the characters after just, you know, giving it a random shot. There's a lot of different reasons to love DDLC, and the main reason I loved it was because of the horror aspect. But while I was enjoying that, I started realizing that I started loving the characters, the music, the story, and just generally everything about it. Speaking of which, let's talk about the horror of Doki Doki Literature Club. The horror in Doki Doki Literature Club has 3 different categories: direct, subtle, and indirect. The direct horror sequences are the jump scares or just scary scenes in general that you see on screen in front of you, such as Yuri's jump scare, or Sayori's suicide, or just anything else off-putting that's in front of you. The next type is subtle horror. These are when a character does or says something a little unnerving, which creeps you out a little bit, but then later turns into fear. An example of this could be Monica's poem, where she's talking about a hole in the wall, where she's referencing that she's looking out and that he, quote-unquote, is looking in. In short, this means that she's looking out of your monitor into your world, and you're looking in, meaning you're looking at the screen into her world. The last type is indirect, which is horror that isn't very obvious, but if you do some thinking or exploring, you'll get unnerved by what you hear or see. An example of this is the Game 5 file secrets in Doki Doki, or even Monica saying you kind of left her hanging this morning to you, obviously referencing Sayori's suicide in her bedroom. All three of these types of horror never fail to at least give me chills, considering that this game was advertised as a Japanese dating simulator. To go along with it, the music in this game is an absolute solid 10 out of 10. Even the happy music can make me appreciate the innocent part of the game, otherwise known as Act 1, even though someone like me wouldn't really enjoy the innocent shit in a dating simulator. Tracks like My Feelings or My Confession really show how good this game's music composer really is, especially considering this is Dan Salvato's first official project that he's created alongside the other members of Team Salvato. Even the tracks like Sayonara or Just Monica are really good and set the mood for what you're currently seeing on screen. For example, Just Monica is unsettling and nerving, which is exactly how you feel, considering Monica is staring at you after mentally killing 3 of your friends over the course of about 5 hours. The twist in this game is probably one of the best twists in any game to ever come out, period. Think about this concept for a second. You and 4 other girls are part of a high school club where one of the girls realizes that she's in a video game, and she realizes that there is no route to take her as a spouse, thus killing off the 3 other girls using the game's code itself, and eventually messing up the game's code so bad to the point where the only thing you can do is sit in a room with her and talk to her 24/7. The game's code says that the other 3 girls, Sayori, Natsuki, and Yuri, are interested in the protagonist in the game, while Monica can see through your monitor and is looking at you, the player, and falls in love with you, rather than the protagonist in Doki Doki Literature Club. There's no game like DDLC, and just stuff like that just makes it 10 times more unique. After learning that fact that Monica likes the player, you, and not the protagonist, you start to notice something that's actually really unnerving and unsettling. Take a look at all 4 of these character sprites, okay, and examine them all. Now tell me, which character is the only one that has their body and head directly facing you? There's not one sprite of Sayori, Natsuki, or Yuri facing you, except for fan-made ones, because they all have their body turning sideways, most likely because they're trying to stand out for the protagonist in the game. But Monica's head and body is pretty much focused at the center of the screen 24/7, because again, she's not talking to the protagonist, she's talking to you behind the monitor. The entire concept is just unbelievably insane to think about, and really shows why I love DDLC just for the concept alone. In actuality, the only way for me to explain everything in the game is for you to have played it, which I'm assuming if you've gotten this far, you have, so you'll know what I'm talking about. This game takes subjects that aren't easy for people, like depression or suicide, and really just makes it stand out in this game. You know, they really show what depression's like for people, and like for Yuri's character, how she just starts cutting herself for no reason, you know, stuff like that. Natsuki getting beaten by her father 24/7 just without saying anything. Every character in this game is going through a dilemma. You know, Sayori is depressed, but she's happy on the outside. Yuri's cutting herself, but it's not because she's depressed. And then Natsuki's getting beaten by her father 24/7 and has no real safe place except for the literature club. Monica is just stuck in the game, and she realizes it, and she takes full advantage of it by, you know, sending like secrets to your actual PC files. Like in your PC files, she sends secret messages and just drops you a bunch of images, and sometimes you get random jump scares, and it's like, along with the music, it's just such a good game. Like I said, the game's mainly anime characters, you know, but for some reason, just like the wording, and even though with the lack of dialogue is actually impressive, like the voice acting in this game is actually impressive, but just Dan does it so well to where it feels like it's real. Again, even though it's just anime drawings, it's just the themes they explore and the music tracks they use and the wording by the characters. You almost feel like they're all really in person with you. I feel like this image that I found on Google really summarizes the entire character of Monica, how she's just like trapped in the PC files, you know, and she's trying to escape into the real world. I just feel like that concept is just so crazy. Like, she's stuck in a video game and she's found out that you have a real world, and, you know, again, she fell in love with you, the player, not the protagonist, and so she wants to come in the real world. I think what really helped me was the DDLC mods, you know, all the great mod creators out there. When I first played DDLC, I really enjoyed it, I loved it, or I wouldn't say I loved it yet, but I liked it a lot, and then I played the DDLC mods like Monica Before Story and stuff like that, and that's when it came to the point where I just started, like, loving DDLC. Sometimes there's just games that you just don't explain why they can get you in the feels, or, like, you enjoyed a lot or something like that, but they just do. And DDLC is a good example of that. This game is just really brilliant and smart and just amazing in every step of the way, and I can't wait to see Team Salvato's upcoming games. Dan Salvato said last year that he'll release DDLC content, which we never got, but then retweeted that tweet saying that this is the year, and to be honest, I can't be more excited to find out, like, what the game is. Like, it's something with Project Libitina, I know that, but I just, like, I don't care what the price is, I'm just gonna buy it and we're just gonna play it. I'm gonna play it probably on live. This is probably my favorite horror game of all time, and it does nothing but make me encourage people to play it who haven't already played it. You know, it's free, it's traumatizing, but most of all, it's fun. And it's a game that I'll easily never forget. Thank you everyone for listening to what I had to say. I'm pretty sure everyone here enjoys DDLC, so we can all understand what I've been saying for the past, like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know how long the video is. Thanks a lot for sticking to the end of the video. You know, I appreciate it a lot. If you could drop a like and subscribe if you're new, it'd mean a lot to me. And, you know, I'd appreciate that a lot. Once again, guys, I didn't go over everything in this video. It's just, like, to be completely honest, unless I replayed the entire game over and over again, just wrote notes constantly, the only way for me to explain to you everything I love about DDLC is just for you to play it. And if you have the same mindset as I do, some scenes will be, like, more scary than others, and it's just, like, a perfect horror game to me. Thank you once again for listening, and have a great day or night, and peace out.